Hey, good night, guys. How are y'all going?
Good night. Hi day.
I seen guys, but I'm not seeing Rani. What's going on, Rani?
Yeah, I kind of from an audio only perspective tonight, as I
Oh,
highlighted.
whole night?
I'm there, right?
The computer took a sudden departure now.
Sudden.
We time for that
So,
M1.
s- yeah, which one of the M1s you're gonna get now? Let me start it. So, which one?
We are wait and see. We are to wait and see.
Hey, tomorrow, I. Oy.
But more than
Good night,
likely,
Zara. And Lily.
the beauty about it is that any one of the M1s are good enough. So, one
Me ain't
like
wanna
might
hear
be
that.
base.
Me ain't
Yeah,
wanna hear
this
that.
is all they need.
I don't know where this man coming up
Is
with.
a Pro or Max? Oh, sorry. Which one of the Max and them you gonna buy? The
It'll be a pro
16, the
man. It'll be a pro.
32.
I feel it's a pro. It had to be a pro coming with.
I ain't
Or
taking no
probably a
chance.
ear. You doing the ear one?
Nah, you ain't
We
buy
go
no
No
see.
ear?
You ain't buy no yeah.
What up to the ear, but I don't understand that kind of color. Well, I mean, what
Nah,
one?
Yeah,
nothing wrong with the
yeah,
air.
nothing wrong, eh?
But.
I don't know the nature of gas. It just making you
Yeah.
pulling you away from that air. If it wasn't for the gas syndrome, I guess the air would have been there.
Uh,
But because
They,
something else more dazzling in your eyes, you just
that's
can't
it.
let it go.
fair. Do you think?
You were the highest grade.
Oh gosh, what should you go now?
Well, what I meant was the most recent slash potent piece of equipment we can acquire.
Take your hands on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could get the job done.
Because I know a brother of mine, I'm gonna call no name. He have a Nova. And I picture like go some mini Novas, aka the 60C. He acquired them as well.
Hmm.
Call it no name. So the gas is real. Oh fellows.
Gas is
But
real.
Owen, did your brethren identify how good the quality was? And I think that's something we will be quite keen to know. You know,
Nah,
did they
he
live
only
up to the
spoke
Africa
about
brand?
he only spoke about build quality, and there was some contention with regards to the output because a certain YouTuber who remain nameless said that it was putting out like 60% of what the Nova was putting out now. Yeah,
You
them
lie.
figures didn't sit too right. You see, them figures. Conrad,
Ah,
what did you say there?
me, I didn't say anything, bro.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't say anything. Right now, I'm just trying to Right now, just trying to settle this route you had today.
Yes,
Yes.
true that. Shub
Yes.
Diwali to Caribbean creative.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
To Caribbean peeps, because you know we're international like that. Yeah, international
I still
roti day.
waiting on my roti, but such is life.
Sucks to be you.
Talk
I eat
about
doubles
international.
and roti.
Talk about international. I wonder if you'll do it, boy.
Let's see.
Let me see if you'll do it. Let me see if you'll do it. Let me see if you'll do it.
Eh,
Don't be
eh,
joke.
eh, eh.
You know, I had
International.
I had to come in. I had to come in. Y'all can hear me good, right?
Yeah, loud
Yeah.
All
and
right,
clear.
cool, cool.
Where's the local time?
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
Jesus.
Because I not got to
Yeah.
ask if he have a 600D coming through that window, you know.
No,
'Cause
no. It's just 5
light,
p.m. This is outside right now.
Watch him,
yeah,
watch him,
light.
watch him, watch him. What are we looking
That don't
at
look
there?
like the Twin Towers. That is
Oh,
what.
what? Well, this is the
That's
back
what
of
side.
this is the back of our hotel. The
Okay.
strip is on the other side, so we have the back view, which is it's so bad, but it is what it is.
Wood.
All right, so what are we talking about tonight? I mean, tonight, yes. Tonight.
Tonight. Yeah,
Hmm.
we it's supposed to be about rent versus buy. I know that was a
Oh
topic
yeah,
you always wanted to have us discuss, so
yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
leave you
yeah,
out.
for sure, for
Couldn't
sure, for
leave you
sure.
out. Couldn't leave you out.
Tomorrow, so we outside
If we outside again,
on a different level again.
we out there.
Hmm.
Don't worry. The whole grass crew will be outside soon.
Wait. When you say strip, what strip you mean? Drag strip? Like Fast and Furious? Strip? Because it's only one
Nah.
place I know of a strip. You understand? And yeah, I just saying. One
The
place
Las
I
Vegas
know.
strip. The Las Vegas strip is what we talking
So you can say Celine Dion later.
about. No, not Celine Dion. I see they have Katy Perry. They have oh gosh, what's this woman name? Shania Twain.
Yeah.
But
If you say
I
she
ain't too
tell
much.
she wouldn't say hi.
Okay, and I think they had Lady Gaga somewhere.
That you talking about? One to Lady Gaga.
I
Heaters.
politely decline.
And yeah, I think I might decline to.
Yeah, that's my
Heaters.
boy. But
Heaters.
yeah, we was well Rani only audio only tonight.
Okay, yeah.
Apparently the Lenovo departed.
That I don't understand that. I mean,
Just pick up and left.
yeah, I
So we were
understand.
trying to ascertain which one of the pro. Well, I was saying which one of the Max and them he was going to get, but Conrad is of the opinion he's going to buy a pro. So we're just trying to ascertain which one he's going to acquire.
I mean,
Probably on
but
the way already.
I feel honestly, I feel he should get a pro. Rani, I think you should because I went into Apple yesterday,
Eh,
and
Like, man,
Man,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
sticking, boy. Yes, sticking.
no. I went to check it out. I definitely
talk
went
to
to check
us.
it. You ever use the old MacBook Pro, the kind of boxy looking one?
Well,
The
I've
kind of
touched
whitey
it.
ones on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the real
The Mac
boxy
Mini.
thick ones.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it
yeah.
look it look it looked like it looked just like that. It looked like the old round one.
Yeah,
And
I always like that design.
me too, me too. I don't know why they feel as though they needed to go thinner and thinner and
Well,
thinner.
Yeah, my sister has a new design, and I found it was alright, but I just like the beefy look personally. So kind of happy to
Yeah,
see they bring it back.
yeah, me too. I definitely because I feel as though you get better airflow and you get like more basically. But so the 14 as opposed to the 16, I mean the real estate boy, the 14 looks small. I ain't gonna lie to you.
All these
It
heaters,
did.
boy. I have a 13
It
and I
yeah,
look at that.
but wait,
the
he's a man
what
don't like to tote nothing unnecessary. They put like
Well, we have plenty to move. What we talking
Heffit,
about the
Heffit.
screen for?
So what was the weight like? 16
Yeah,
versus
let
14.
me hear what the
But that's what I'm
restriction is.
concerned about the most.
I
so
Enhance.
I mean
personally like looking at 16 inches because I had a 15-inch
right.
laptop and I did a lot on it. So
Yeah.
16-inch, I will more than love. But then
I
part of me
feel
is like, I might have it in a place where it's going to be docked on a 32-inch monitor. So it's like, would I need that
well
16-inch?
well all right. I was down for the 14. I ain't gonna lie. I was really saying I could probably take a hit with the screen side, but when I did look at it, I was like,
Yeah, they
I don't think I
use the
could do that.
thing, man. It can't just,
I
you
don't
can't
think
just
I
look
don't
at it.
think honestly when you put these two side by side and you just do this and you're like, yeah, I feel as though you might take the hit and go bigger because it is what I feel. No, you would want it. You would want it when you don't have it docked onto your machine and you realize that you're taking it out more because it's something that could go out. Like it has all day battery life and everything. So you would
Well,
definitely
fact.
you could leave your charger home and just do work outside and come back. I feel as though you will want that.
But you're looking at a $500 increase.
Yes. Like I
Small
said,
thing. That's small
like
thing
that's what
for
I said.
Ronnie.
You might take the hit. I feel as though you'd want to take the hit to get the screen.
It's tech
I
on or not? But wait. Sion, why you went to the Apple store unless you was
Yeah,
waiting?
I mean,
We didn't really
I guess
ask the proper questions now. What going on?
what you mean? What are doing there? I mean,
Yeah.
well, he has the Dell still. He has the
Science.
Dell still, so that's a good sign.
yeah, I still have my Dell. I'm not gonna. One.
Wait. So
So
if that's the Dell, what you live streaming from?
That's why I'm studying.
I using my phone. I using my Apple phone.
Oh.
My Dell don't have
The
have
same
good,
one you left with.
Of course, yes.
Okay.
All right.
Because I
I
know
find
you
out.
flex with
If I
man
trade
like
in this,
Cassius now. Eh?
Right. So
Double-edged
if I
castles.
trade in my iPhone right now, I'm getting $340 off for
Only?
trading. Yeah, only.
Yeah, that's
No, better you sell it down
340.
here and then go over there, but then you have to do it without a phone.
I don't think I will change anytime soon. I think I might because I only got this last year. So I think I have like about a couple more years again before I probably
but
want
that's
to
not a
change.
legitimate reason though.
It
Yeah.
isn't, but
No
I
partners
feel as though
Cassius
a
is.
phone I feel as though a phone should last you at least 3 years before you
I
decide.
agree with you, CM.
Yeah.
Fair. I mean, they do work well. I am not jealous. I wish I had an iPhone right now. I'm rocking
Mm.
Can I have that in
something.
writing, please?
Wow.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You want even call any brand boy? Pain boy, pain.
Yeah, we can't talk about those stuff. I might get blocked now. You know the
The only
Chinese
reason why
stuff.
I feel as though I will not go MacBook Pro is because
You
I just don't.
outsource.
Yeah, I don't because I ain't gonna use it. I ain't gonna use it to its full potential because I don't want
Yeah,
to do anything
yeah,
on
you
something
wasting
that
the money.
The guy saying
I
good night.
feel as though.
We had to at least shout out the persons in the chat. We can
Yeah,
do this
free.
without
Yeah,
you
hold
all
on.
at all. We see Riyadh saying good night. Welcome, Riyadh. I see you doing your stuff. I think your live stream is on a Friday night. Who else we have in
Yes,
the chat
as
there?
Marco his stuff though. As Marco his
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. They have
Yeah,
a
just
good
be
stuff,
doing
a
some
good
stuff
thing
with
going.
the other people.
Yeah.
So I made.
I shout out Philos already.
Fellows. We see tomorrow. Okay, Zara.
Hey, Brandon in the live as well. Hey, did you
What are
get
you
that
talking
thing
about?
sorted out, boy?
Where's that?
Remember
The
he
lens.
What do you
no,
what
it's
do
the
you what
lens,
do
the
you
body.
with
The
the
Yeah, we had
body
body.
to.
and the fact that he had to get a broker or
I
something.
broke her to sort it out.
Yeah, the buddy. He sent some high-res shots and stuff. It's ridiculous.
Hold on. Send it for who?
Oh.
Yeah.
Check all the WhatsApp there.
Yeah, thanks.
Mm.
Brandon, don't send nothing with Conrad, please. You understand? We're gonna give it.
I'll send a WhatsApp to you all day in a little
Paste
bit.
it in the CCS, cause
A little bit. No. Well, we gotta get permission first from the photographer. We can't take it for granted.
true.
Who else we have rocking with us tonight? We have some mean persons here every week. We see the same. That's great. Doing something we ask that you shared. Drop it on your profile. Drop it in your groups. Let people know that we having conversations out here.
Yeah. Why
Yeah,
is
not
this
the
the
baby pics. Sorry.
penultimate episode?
I'm watching Cian scream there. I'm jealous.
Yeah. I find my face looking a little too hard.
I'm feeling it was so
Just
long.
now, just now, I just had to get that.
Gosh, this man on a listing on this one on a listing already.
Yeah. I wanna see what it's about.
You want to know how much stops I like to?
Yeah, looking like a silk, a nice
Well,
quality silk there.
Well, let me wait for Sian to pull out the light meter.
I'll let it to Bruce. Bruce have it.
Yeah.
See what?
You're playing them thing.
I think tonight we might take a walk to the Bellagio and to the fountain thing.
Okay.
Alright.
If you see walk we're doing, we just do. If there's one thing when you come down here, boy, you just create a real walk and to get a good shoe, get a good sneaker, get a good walk.
Sketchers for the win.
Sketch as
Yeah.
well.
Any gear today, bro? I kind of out of it.
Any music?
Mavic
Well,
3.
Yeah, DJI smoking weed.
What do you mean?
Oh wow.
What do you mean, man?
Just so?
Yeah, I wanna know.
Talk to me.
I find them price those leak prices still looking a bit insane. I mean, we have the standard 3 coming in at 2,200. We have the Flymore combo coming in at $3,000, and then the Mavic 3 Sin Premium combo coming in at $5,000. Now, one will say that how the Mavic 3 standard price is like 2 cameras in one. So, I mean, it's expected. It's basically the zoom, and it's basically the standard. So it's like, I mean, 2-in-1 for 2,200. You can't fight them, but oh gosh, why? At least a little 1,700 now. You understand?
So is this Mavic 3 is it?
That's a leak price, eh?
Yeah, but is
Oh,
it
is it
is
still
this
in
now
drop it?
going to be the
No.
flagship?
I thought it dropped
Like how they
already.
have the Phantom and stuff like that. Is this going to be
I
the
think the
Phantom?
Phantom might be on its way out, so I could see this maybe replacing the Phantom completely.
Yeah, they stopped making Phantoms a couple months now. That
Yeah,
was
so
the
this could
Phantom
be the
This is
15.
standard.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
According to Phil, I mean, it's a flying Micro Four Thirds camera. Imagine you have a flying GH5 and you want to get it for cheaper than.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
imagine in 1 second that GH5 falling out the sky and rendered
n-
useless.
no, damn. That is why you're spending $2,200 for it. It's not supposed to do that. We hope. We hope, right?
How many
We hope.
drones locally have gone?
Why are you
Too
asking
soon,
these
too soon,
very
too soon, too
disgusting
soon,
questions? I mean,
too soon. Don't ask some questions.
you're wicked,
No,
lad.
it will have it will definitely have those the amount of drones DJI have. It will have those videos. Wait, which
Well, I
drone is
mean,
best to use?
based on tonight's topic, I look forward to renting this Mavic 3 from AI Imports. I mean, it's only fitting. I mean, looking at the price to buy it, it might as well I rent it. So, you know, a sharpening my knives.
Next
Conrad,
thing
you
they
will
fall out
bring
of the
this
sky.
down. You will bring
Next
this
thing
down
they
Conrad,
to
fall out of the sky.
Cal do study.
Conrad, if Conrad will bring this down,
yeah.
when Conrad say no, that means yes.
I know about
Yeah,
that.
Conrad is saying nothing.
I'll leave that one
Conrad
right
stay
there.
quiet.
I ain't
Yeah,
saying
I
nothing.
leave that
I ain't know anything. That is yeah. You make me put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah.
But so when is it expected to launch, Ronnie? You know, I'm not seeing anything
I
about
thought it
for it.
was today between maybe tonight into tomorrow morning. It's supposed to drop, as far as
Probably
I know.
one launching in Las Vegas. See how the deal first. Well, I see they mentioned the Godox 2400
What's that?
is a power pack.
Oh,
Yeah, it's this big,
I can't.
ridiculous. It's looking like a Pro
I
14
can't remember
actually,
the
Tim.
last time I even went on Godox website.
Serious? So you don't use strobes?
Yeah, but it's like you're so happy with what you have now that you know that anything they drop is just waste of money because they made such excellent shows at the moment.
What? Yo,
Yeah.
you know why you could say that? Because you ain't showing your face. Because
No, I
anybody
mean,
can make that statement to that stream face.
I've been honest with you. The 8600 Pro, the 8400 are excellent strobes. So it's
Okay.
like when you're confident and satisfied in the system you have, you're not bothered. You understand?
Fair. So nothing really
Look
to
at
it.
Remember
look
who
at
you're talking to, right? This is
Ye-
gas.
yeah. I've been honest with you.
All right, cool.
Alright, fair. I mean, it is what it is if you're satisfied. So you don't think you would ever upgrade your strobes again, Ronnie? That's it.
No, I want to go to continuous lighting. I think that's the future.
Fair. But continuous lighting on that level, so that's real power.
That is it.
Yeah.
You try to
Yeah.
cook
depends on
people.
what he's shooting, like, and
Yeah.
when he's shooting to. He might have a toss or something.
Yeah, because at the moment I have all the lighting I need strobe wise, like neither. So
Right.
anything missing, I just rent it. You know, like if you need an AC adapter or something, I have my
That's a
speed
nice
lights,
upgrade.
I have my V1s, I have my R2s. So it's like a satisfied lighting wise for strobes, but I think
Right.
continuous lighting would be a better investment. You know.
Oh, okay. Fair. I can see that. Well, on that note, if we don't have any other gear to talk about this week, I mean, we should.
I mean, we had the
get into
Z9
topic.
still.
Oh God, could we move?
Yeah,
No,
like you
don't be
listen,
like that, no
Conrad did, right?
man.
Conrad
Don't
did
be
say
like
it.
that.
If you have no
Basically,
more
I just
time-
want to say with the Z9, I saw
There we
I can do something a little different, which I applaud them for, and I liked it. As soon as the camera dropped, I see they gave the Z9 to various camera stores and had a lot of people coming in to get real life testing. Like a couple camera stores,
exactly,
like
Phil. I don't know why we're in 2017.
rather than waiting like a whole month or 2 months, like they actually give some camera stores some Z9 models and had person just walking and just testing it out for themselves. So I think that was
Okay.
a nice move, but they still have far to go. But yeah,
But why they
Nikon
wouldn't
is here to
release the
stay.
camera? I mean, they released the camera, but why they don't ship it as yet, though? I mean, where's the key back? What do you think is the reason why?
I just think supply
Nobody wants
issues. I think
Okay.
supply issues. I think they
Oh gosh, oh.
they they're probably not at a point where they could supply it as quickly and as fast because they have other products that should have already been in stock that kind of does be late in stock. So,
Understood.
yeah, I think they just wanted to get it out the way and tell people, hey, we have this rather than wait till next year and then be able to ship it out one time. So, yeah.
Fair.
Was this Canon R1 rumor that Brendan talked about?
Apparently, it's the camera to have coming next
Yeah,
month.
because Canon hasn't really dropped their flagship camera this year.
The
That's what
R3
they
is not a
claim.
flagship.
No, it's not.
No part of the R3 is a flagship.
But look at that spec. What are they going to bring again?
That's the point.
Something for the A1.
That's the point.
Let me
But
guess.
Isn't it, but isn't
No
the,
sh-
the
no
R3
shutter.
and E1 kind of close in terms of spec, right?
Yeah, close. It
No
real close.
mechanical shutter.
It close, but the E1 still trumps it in, I think, resolution and some other stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, and the R3 has a stack CMOS sensor as well too?
I am not sure. I don't even look at Canon
Did
stuff
we?
anymore.
You didn't even look at the flagship stuff. I could
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Yeah,
if it have a stack, well, I mean that's already a fast sensor as well. Anyway, yeah.
Ridiculously fast.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right.
What's a Nikon? That brand you buy in the vegetable aisle.
Oh my gosh.
It's a good thing I can see the comments.
It's a good thing, huh? Yeah.
Is that good thing you're selling
Well, how you got on though, Rani? I'm curious.
phone?
My phone, Android to the
okay.
wall.
With the camera on your phone not good enough?
Look at this
How do you
man.
use it?
Nah, I can't get my good side with the camera.
Wow.
Alright.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well said,
I mean,
well said.
A guy all in the way, all over the planet, and he using his iPhone. I just say it.
3 hours. Yeah.
Just say it.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Just say it. Seems to be doing fine.
It's faulty.
Yeah. Android to the wheel, he says. Yeah, so rent versus buy. Yeah.
Topic for tonight.
Bacchanal
This one I tasty,
tonight.
buddy.
Phil, clear schedule. Yeah, real thing.
Where do you
just
guys
have to
actually fall?
Phil just
Where
have
do
to
you guys-
pretend he is in Trinidad for this topic.
All right. So where do you guys actually fall on this? Rent versus buy.
Well,
I
thought
say
of
rent.
I say buy
That's a-
or rent until you could buy.
Rent until you could buy. I mean,
Let me hear
I
what
mean,
you
okay,
guys
yeah,
have
you
in the
can do that.
comments now. What side of the fence you guys on? Rent versus buy. Which you'd prefer to do.
oh, can we do polls? Can we do a poll? No, we can't. We can't do
We
polls.
can't do the poll. We could probably let we could have somebody in the back tally it first. See what we could come up with
Okay.
in the
Nah,
next
saying,
by 9
Drop a
o'clock.
1
Let's
for
see.
rent, drop a 2 for buy. Let's
Yeah,
go.
that works.
yeah, that could be.
Yeah. Repeat that there, Rani.
Drop a 1 for rent, drop a 2 for buy. Drop a 3 if you don't know what to do with yourself.
Oh, is
You
that
see
the
what
one?
happen when you don't have a camera on?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Spicy. Definitely spicy. All right. So,
Alright.
so what are the benefits?
I
of
hear
actually
Bruce,
owning
though.
all your gear, as opposed
Me,
to
I'm a
renting?
buy guy.
Okay.
I like to have my thing home
Okay.
on a shelf. I could go and watch it at 3 o'clock in the morning. You understand? Yeah, that's what I like.
Fair is fair. Oh, you see, and you're saying something there about what's the benefits? What are the benefits?
Yeah.
of
What's the benefits of
owning one
actually
the gear?
owning your own gear as opposed to renting it? Other than the fact that you could reach sprayed at any point in time, but what about the days that it's not actually not doing anything and sitting down there and just the depreciation is just going down and going down. Not saying that that's gonna happen to everybody.
Yeah.
But I just say sometimes it happens where you don't use your gear for some months on end, and it's not
So,
making you
I
money then.
mean, that's definitely something to consider. I mean, the fact that you have equipment being unused. I think a lot of persons look at it from the perspective that they already spent the money and they're not necessarily looking to recover the money. They're just looking for jobs after, if any at all. So
So wait, so they don't
really
put
consider the asset.
So do people put like when they're doing their prices, do they still consider the gear part into their prices as well? Like how when I do packages, I make sure I'm put your rental cost into the package itself. So
Most people
I
don't have
feel
time
like
for that, Sion, but
what do you mean?
it's
Well,
a
okay,
good thing to be done. I'll be honest with
right,
you.
so yeah,
Most people don't
so
do it,
so
but it's a
so
good practice.
because even though I have some gear as well, I still go to your website, Conrad, and I still put in the gear that I have into the website to see how much it'll come up to, and I use that to like to create the package as well too. Because I mean, you
Yeah.
should be charging as well, even for your time, at least some fee for your gear to just as a good practice, I guess. I don't know if you all agree with that.
I agree 100% because one of the beauty about that is that if at any moment your gear fails,
Right.
right, and you have to, God forbid, get a rental, you're not looking at a loss in profit. You understand? You're looking to make that expected profit income. But now let's say, like I was telling someone in this whole pandemic with the rent versus buy, let's say at the start of the pandemic you decided that I'm going to buy a Nikon 70 to 200 lens because I believe it's going to give me this amount of jobs, maybe 20 jobs, right?
Hmm.
But you
Right.
catered for the 20 jobs covering that lens. But for some reason, you only got 5 jobs that year. Basically, you'll be at a loss. You'll have
Right.
a hole burning in your pocket. But now, if
You'll
you
be in debt.
price each job with the sense that, A, I'm renting in my pricing, even though you want to buy it, if by chance you only get 5 jobs, you will still have a profit. You will still have more money in your pocket. I'll explain it
I agree.
properly. You understand? Rather than all your income or all your profit is just gone completely and there's no jobs coming in. That's one way how I see it.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of maths there. I think a lot of persons don't necessarily cater that into their course, like Rani said. But see, on hitting on a strong point, it's a good idea to at least recover your course. It's a good idea to know your minimum operating cost.
Correct.
A lot of it sounds complex, but it's really, really simple. Think of it: your minimum operating cost. So you would
Your
have to
website, your
pay
website
for your
actually
transport to
helps.
go.
Your website actually helps with helped me when I was actually creating packages and stuff. So I believe if anybody wants to actually figure out like what's it cost for your gear, just go to your website. Just go to Conrad's website, and he has it laid out in terms of prices. That could definitely help when you creating packages. Your website helped me a lot
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
Because
that's
to be
good. Appreciate
honest,
that.
ideally, it's you're supposed to factor that in your pricing regardless, even if you're procuring your equipment from a rental house or if you own it, because your gear is still being used. And like you said, depreciation, repairs, even replacement. So if you're not factoring the use of the gear in your price point, more or less, you use it's freebies you're giving away, and then when the time comes when you had to buy the new Sony whatever 7200 lens, how you gonna fund it if you didn't add that into the equation to begin with?
Another thing to consider when it comes to renting versus buying. Um, Other than the fact that you don't have the means to actually buy the lens now. What about the fact that what if you because I've done this already where I bought certain gear that I think I was going to use or I thought I was going to real use because again it was popular at the time and it just not not there. So and I only like how Randy said you only use it for 5 jobs. So I've done that already. So I feel this a good way of figuring out if this is something that you would definitely need constantly going in the future is to see how many times you rent it and how many jobs are coming or how many jobs require the gear going forward for the rest of the year. That would definitely let you know if it's more viable to just buy the gear, buy the item itself.
Because
You know.
I would say even in my experience, there are a lot of gear that I would have bought that if I'd go back in time, I would never buy. You
Correct.
understand? And I'll have all that
Like which
money
one
sitting
there,
along in
Ronnie?
my pockets. I can't give out them secrets there.
For me, it was a macro lens. I bought a 105 Sigma macro, and I only used it like about two times, and that never came out my
So how
backup.
do you
Yeah.
do your detail shots for your weddings? You don't use a
Uh,
macro lens at
um,
all?
it's no, I the detail shots. What how I do detail shots now don't require macro lens anymore. It's more like we put everything in a very laid out way. We just throw that bitch on the ground, and we take the either the 35 or the 50, and we just snap it like a overhead kind of shot. So that's basically. So there's no macro straight to see like the little specular highlights in a diamond in the ring anymore. So I don't do that.
I realize
So
it's
that
a
was a weakness.
Sony.
That was a weakness.
I realize it's a Sony thing.
No, no,
Orlando
no, no, no,
macro,
no, no. Don't come
Orlando
on.
macro, Orlando macro lens.
Yeah, we have
Uh,
plenty.
I, yeah, but who won any?
That's not the
So
point.
okay, all right. So is it? Do people think that it's expensive to constantly rent your gear for jobs? Do people think? What's the misconception that people have with renting gear? Do they feel as though like I just said, do they think it's like expensive?
Well,
Misconception.
I guess like he's asking is if the cost of renting is too much for persons. Um, that comes again from not knowing how to price for your jobs. So I never had these problems because I ain't have the money to buy freely. Boys, I was there. I remember that. But I think again it goes back to the idea of costing. Unfortunately, a lot of us, when we start our photography journey, nobody really takes the time to explain to us how to work on costing. The common calculation is use what you're getting paid right now in a day job, if any, and divide it across the hours and multiply it out.
Right.
But again, it helps to know your minimum operating costs, and equipment would fall into that. The mere fact that you have to carry a piece of equipment to get the job done means that you're going to be utilizing an asset, and most assets have a finite life, meaning that at
Span.
some point, yeah,
It,
a lifespan.
correct.
S- So at some point, it's either going to break or it's just simply no longer going to fit your workflow or your jobs. In a case like that, you need to ensure that you're accounting for that cost. And that cost, again, it's not usually covered with one job. You need to understand that this piece of equipment is going to be utilized for a certain period of time or over a certain amount of jobs. And if you work out the residual value, if any at all, you would be able to, understand that, yeah, this is
What
a
you call
cost that
that?
I
What you
need to
said?
pass on.
Residual value?
Residual
What is
value.
Residual value, that's the
residual?
value of the asset at disposal. So let's say you're going to be using your camera. Let's say we now buy the new Z9. Rani buys a Z9 in
Can I
2021.
have a better example, please?
No, 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 no.
Too rude.
Allow the boss to, give us some ice insight here.
Are we
So we
talking?
get,
'Cause-
we
Yeah,
get
so
five years out of that Z9.
we
Sorry,
think we
sorry,
could get
sorry.
5 years out of the Z9, right? But let's consider we buy this in 2021. It has 8K, what, Rani? 30?
Yeah, 30 frames per second,
Right? And we think this is the
45
best.
megapixel.
Right, right. The best thing since sliced bread. But we're gonna realize that the grip's gonna get worn. One day the shutter is gonna lock up.
Apparently, there's
Um,
no shutter.
No, no, there's no shutter there to lock up.
there's no shutter to lock up, so the capacitors could burn out or it could fall. Ouch. And then we have this asset that had a value before, now is like nothing. So the residual value will be what you could get for it at the time when it's no longer in use. Again, if you decide to sell to move on, you'll probably want to sell it for let's say 2026 run, you say 5 years. That's not gonna be worth much. Let's look at the example of 5D Mark III. How much a 5D Mark III was when it came out? Oh, I think
Oh,
it
good.
says 3,000
Like
something.
3,300.
Right, and now you could get a 5D Mark III for around, let's say around 500, 600 US.
Ouch.
So
And how many years
yeah,
gone there?
I don't know, probably about 8 or 9 years. So it loses approximately 10% of its value every year. Let me just say that, right?
Correct. And that's why when you're buying stuff like that, you have to be looking at how much money can this gear bring to the table, first off, without it going bad. Because you might be saying, hey, I want a Z9, but you're doing 3 jobs in a year that can't even cover 10% of the cost of the Z9. That not making sense, you know?
But then you need to either be buying more affordable gear, cheaper gear, that fits your client because they're obviously charging a lower amount,
Or price your gear, or
or
price
price higher.
buy the gear and price higher so that 3 jobs in a year covers the Z9 and a little lens.
3 jobs they saying.
Right.
Look, we have C on here.
CNN buying
What
no
do you mean?
Z9 and doing
But
3 jobs a year.
No, what
You
I'm saying is
understand?
that how CN probably could do 3 jobs and it cover the price of a Z9. With his pricing strategy, he probably can do that. So
yeah,
is
but you forget it's
I'm
like
not saying how he will go and do it, you know, but he
no,
probably could do that.
but even though you may think that my pricing might actually cover, but you forget when I do get a job, the everything is kind of the whole everything is cut up. So you have savings for my savings, a loan payment, and then you have operational costs per month, and then you have like the insurance. My insurance is be like gear insurance, so I put aside money for like if anything were to happen to gear and I needed like something or something latest come out and I feel as though it would benefit me and Conrad not gonna get in time or Conrad tell me nah, I ain't getting that shit, I would be like, all right, gotta dip
Or he
into
get
that
it
fund.
and then tell you it sucks to be you.
So I'll have to dip into that fund. So it's cut up in a way that that money doesn't go all over the place after I get payment.
Yeah, and that's still a good strategy. That's a must have that everybody must have that way that as a job come in, the money allocated. It's not a case that I just take all this money and just buy the latest and greatest every single day. You understand? It must have some kind of sustainable way of accounting for every single dollar that comes in.
Agreed.
Fair. Very fair. So you're still getting the Z9, Ronnie?
I never said I was getting it. I
I, fi-
never
I,
said I was getting it.
I
I said I
finally
was
hitting
happy for
sixes now.
Nikon. I
Oh,
was
okay.
happy for Nikon. I'm happy to see that they're still alive. They're still kicking. You understand?
Right.
They're comfortable at position number 3. And you look forward to whatever they're going to drop in the future. But the Z9, there's nothing the Z9 is going to do for me that my current camera system can't do. That's the reality of it. So
Fair.
yeah, rather than buy that and in 2 years you lose 20% of the value or even more, just be comfortable. Like I told somebody, even in my photography career, I never wanted the latest and greatest. I will wait for it to drop, maybe wait 2 years, hit the gray market, or buy it used, and let that thing work for me. You understand?
As
The,
you
the,
say that too, it kind of remind me of why I would not buy like a real expensive lens. Um, One, because I probably don't have the money to pay for it, but the fact that Conrad has some of these specialty lens that I probably would never be able to afford, it
yep,
kind of now takes my photography or takes my quality up like almost a
10
hundred percent.
notches.
Correct, you understand? So I see like the renting part of it. One as an investment, a great investment to increase your quality for your clients and stuff like that. And it will show, and you have to see that as like I said, an investment to get more jobs and to market that the fact that you have higher quality and that you could now service your clients with better experience and stuff like that. And then the second part is build create that fund like how I have a little fund on the side, create that fund and reached a point where you could now say, Conrad, will you sell me
Bro,
that lens after
create that
using it
fund
for
like how I have a little fund on the stuff.
who was that? That was me or
That's the voice of.
I think that was a little glitch in the matrix.
okay.
Nah,
So I don't know. So it's like then you go to Conrad and you say, Conrad, will you be willing to rent or sell me? Because I feel as though Conrad, you probably won't keep a lens for more than what, 2, 3 years or something like that.
it depends. It depends.
Okay,
Sometimes some equipment you just wouldn't let go. It
right,
makes sense to hold on to. The value isn't there where it would. If I sell it, I have to replace it with something newer, most likely.
right. So I feel as though you always monitor what Conrad doing with his stuff and see that if or when he has his Black Friday sale, you go to him and be like, yo, I have I have the money, Conrad. This could be mine now. I, it's really like a what is call it like the lens lineup or the lens map or the succession planning. What you're gonna do, what with
Correct.
what you have, with what Conrad have, and what you want in the future, and what is the succession plan exactly to get that.
Like imagine being able to rent a Fuji GFX. Like you
Correct.
might never buy it, but you
You're able
decide,
to buy
hey,
it.
I get a nice little corporate job and I just want to bling and impress the
Hmm.
client. You understand? They
Hmm.
know not about your camera, but the final image out of that is going to
Correct. They
look
will see
better
the
than what
difference.
anybody else might have. So
I
yeah,
agree with Akedi there. The Sigma 18 to 35. That's almost a mandatory lens for all videographers on a budget and stuff. Even those who have the paper, they tend to keep one as a backup. Even this is
Wow,
all you
Conrad.
hear, Kevin. A
I set up
whole
their budget.
conversation, 40 minutes. You just hear Black Friday sale, and that is why we can't afford to have one. Um. All right. Let me
Not until
see
we have the storefront. Not until we have the storefront.
that storefront. Well, I can't have a sale for our storefront. I mean, sorry, I can't have a storefront if I always have everything on sale.
That's
Well,
it.
now that your A7 4S pre-ordered, so currently you're selling A7 trees or R3s for your best price. Yeah, as soon
Well,
as the suppliers and they're giving me best price, I could probably sell mine for a
you
best
know,
price.
Bruce and I hate that word with a passion. Best friend.
Best price, eh?
Yeah,
Hate
yeah,
but
that
that's
word
a
with a passion.
that's a nice cultural word though.
Cultural. But the problem is the people who use the word best price, right? Or the phrase give me a best price. They themselves don't like to hear that phrase
They don't like to
being
hear it, so
asked.
don't do it to other
Ooh,
people ever.
You
yeah.
always hear photographers
Trust
complain
me.
about their clients or potential clients say, hey, nah, I can get a best
Like best price,
price. Or
That is the
there's
best
one I
price.
hear, they complain when they hear about COVID weddings or COVID events. Nobody want to hear about reduced price
No,
for
no, no,
COVID.
no, 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 no. There's one I hit you. This one.
Or
Is
is the
this
one next
a small wedding? Eh?
Is this a small
Okay,
wedding?
okay. So what I
It's
have to
only
do
10
is
people. It's
it's
only
only
10
10
people.
people. Okay, that doesn't mean the price goes down though.
well, I
Because
Well,
mean,
if
when
there's
they have
still
like,
photography.
you would think so by seeing people dropping their prices. They have 10 people wedding prices.
People just scared when they drop their prices like that. They're scared. They're scared I won't get um paid jobs. Even I myself too. I'm scared that sometimes I don't get jobs because of it. But that
See,
doesn't mean you should drop your prices for sure.
oh, well, that's a whole topic for itself. I think you
Yeah,
had
I know.
touched
I'm
on
sorry
that
about that.
before sale
yeah,
earlier
Yes,
on
I'm
when
sorry.
we talked about costing. But it is a reality. You need to
It is.
consider costs when you're shopping for your gear or
What
deciding
happened
if
to
to
this
rent.
Canon guy over coming in and out? I don't understand.
but
Can I give him trouble?
Who's that, Phil?
No, no, no.
Or Owen?
We resident Canon proposal guy. I don't
Oh,
understand what's wrong with
but in all honesty, I think Nikon gave us our best price. Nobody was looking for that.
it. You guys think that price is actually fair though? What is it? Is it 6,000? I can't remember.
No, it's 5,500. I thought they would have given us a little 6,000. You understand?
I could put it into perspective. You said it doesn't have a mechanical shutter,
Yeah.
so that's one less component they have to
Yeah.
install. Think of it as now a
Oh,
computer with an imaging processor only.
correct. How much is the A1?
I think it's a 6.5.
6,005.
I believe
6,000. How
so.
much is the R3?
Around same. I think it was like 6,000.
6,000.
Is
So
it?
Nikon,
So Nikon
yeah,
is it cheaper?
Yeah,
yeah.
they are
Oh,
the
I didn't
most
look for them there
affordable.
at all, but you're really right.
With
They really give you a best price.
with a built-in grip for people who
Oh,
care about
With a
those
built-in
things.
grip.
nobody care about that.
Yeah. Back to the topic though. You
Feel
were
that one
touching
in
on
my
it.
soul, boy.
What's that?
Nobody care about the grip.
Nobody care. Who cares about? All right. Was it this is a new poll? Do anybody care for a camera grip?
One for yes, two for no.
Who uses camera grips? I don't think anybody even bothers with camera grips.
Oh, that's Sky. Look at us, Sky. That's feels nice.
Yeah, nice guy. And he didn't need a camera grip to take that picture. Imagine that.
That's. I wonder if I need a camera grip to take that Sky picture.
I think grips
No
are for people
haters,
who
boy.
grip is for people who have the false pretense that having a bigger camera is better.
No, I think it's for people who actually have big hands and need comfort.
I think my hand bigger than yours, Ran. You wanna bet?
Yeah, but I could turn this way. Yeah, man.
Yeah, well then we have the
Just want to
Kobo
say
wing
that
in
the
the
grip
ear
is for
too.
portrait people. The grip is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just want to say that the grip is for
Avoid
like portrait.
the Kobo wing when you're in a wedding.
I'm checking wing out in the elbow in
Yeah.
people's face.
Uncle Bob. Alright.
Ain't nobody wants to see a sweaty
arm.
armpit.
My armpit smells sweet. Come smell my arm.
Okay then.
So once I stop using grips since I stopped using Nikon.
My hands big, so pain if the camera grip small. I never understand that.
Yeah, I tell
So
you
when
that
do
he
you
can't
drink
understand.
do you drink tea in a mug because your hands are big? Or you
I don't
still
drink
drink it
tea.
in a teacup?
Straighten
You don't
out,
drink
straighten
tea.
out,
I
straighten
just
out
I
both.
just put that in a mug. Anything is a mug.
You
Water
understand?
mug, juice mug, tea mug.
Or do you go and swap out the steering wheel because your hand's big? Or if your hand's small you
I
get a
put
smaller steering wheel?
I actually put a grip on the steering wheel just to make it
Oh,
feel more comfortable.
they're rude. It's rude.
That makes no sense. I'm sorry. I don't understand that. Sorry. That different. And we keep straying from the topic tonight. Tonight is
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
be about renting versus buying.
All right. But I want to play devil's advocate and consider how buy because before affordable imports, buying life was the only thing I knew. And the
That's true.
reality
Same here.
is
I agree.
when it comes to buying, sometimes some of us like to have a more intimate relationship with our gear in the sense that we want to know it inside and out. Now, if tell Conrad, hey, I want to try out the Sony A7 R4, whichever one, I have to factor in renting that camera maybe the day before, maybe 2 days before, just to understand it for a particular job. Let's say first time I'm going out for this job. But I know in the back of my mind, I want to build a career off of videography. So we're using the A7 and S3, right? I want to watch some
Okay.
YouTube videos, learn the settings, because sometimes just a simple setting, even sharpness in a custom profile, could just throw you off. So you want to know that camera in and out. You want to do some practice. You want to get up early in the morning to get some video at dawn. But the reality of renting that A7S3, you might need 2, 3, 4 days to try and get a little experience that you're comfortable with sometimes for a job. First time going in. You understand? So buying the gear, setting aside and buying the gear means that you can spend unlimited amount of hours understanding it in and out without having to worry that, hey boy, somebody is billing me per second while I have this on me. So I think with some gear, you just had to buy it, You just had to
Okay.
buy
You,
it.
you, yeah, you did. That is definitely I would say like a con or downfall in the fact that you have to rent here, especially for the for like new people who don't have that kind of what is called a thing experience with multiple gears. Like I mean, Ronnie, you could just pick up a Canon and be like, okay, well I know this, I know that, and it might be a little bit easier or faster for you to actually understand what to do. But like for the younger ones or the ones who are not coming up, they might
No
actually have
coming
that
in.
problem. Yeah, they might have that problem that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So renting is not for the fair for something like that.
Well, definitely you can see that, yeah, owning the gear. But then there's also the other side of if you buy the gear and it simply doesn't do what you need to do
That
because you didn't really have an idea beforehand what it is. You just go based on what you see on YouTube. And time again, we have seen where YouTube reviews have skewed over time the outlook of creators or photographers, videographers, only for them to actually get the equipment in their own hands and realize it's just not as described by persons on YouTube. I mean, technically, YouTubers now are like the new celebrities.
Yep.
Um, the,
A new
the
you know
car
that
salesman.
yeah,
know
the
the
car
old
salesman.
the salespeople that is on TV like late night sell and they sell a phone now and then
Infomercials.
yes them
Yeah,
yeah definitely. But Conrad, you actually bring up a really good point just now there. The fact that a pro for renting gear is to if you know that you want to buy the A7 III or whatever, but you want to know the ins and outs of it, or you don't want to rely on the tools, renting it first, playing with it, figuring it out if this will work for you for your workflow will definitely be a plus before you actually go out and buy said gear.
yeah,
I feel that might be
definitely.
Yeah, and
that be but that's a big plus.
like for
Yeah,
me, I would just put a plug here for Nikon in regards to the rental aspect. A lot of persons are worried about autofocus system, right? But you're coming from a DSLR environment. Once you're coming from
Mm,
a DSLR environment to a mirrorless environment, any camera system will get the job done. So for somebody who might be shooting Nikon, hey, you're in DSLR, you had a DSLR, just rent a mirrorless body, and you might be surprised it's leaps and bounds different than what you thought YouTube was telling you. You might be
right,
seeing these forums, say people complaining about this, complaining about that. But rent it, get it in your hand, make your own informed decision.
right.
yeah, that's definitely a good point there. Another thing too is even when persons review equipment on YouTube, you would see a lot of persons are just using it incorrectly. They would have gotten the equipment in hand, rushed to put out a video, and they never really got to know the nuances of the equipment, which could be a pro for what's that song? Yeah, which could be
I
a pro
think
for
that's good.
persons who own the equipment. But again, it's a risk you're taking there by jumping out and spending your money. Um, but definitely, if you have the option to check out the equipment before, even if your friend purchased it before, you would probably want to have a look at it rather than just take the word of YouTube shows, if you will.
I would even
Um,
add to that, Conrad, too, and say
mm,
that some YouTube people they don't even have a workflow like you. So they just
correct.
have their so you have like a specific workflow and
Yes, that is a beautiful
correct.
point.
Yeah, and you know how to you want to use your camera a certain way, but because they don't work like how you work, they wouldn't test for that. So the fact that if Conrad has the or like you said like you said Conrad, your friend have the camera, you want to test it out into your type of workflow, and that's what I did
Yeah,
for the Nikon the Z6 too.
yeah,
I rented that a couple times
yeah.
because
Because you
I
were
had a
a Nikon
specific
guy before, right?
yeah, I was an icon
Right,
guy before, and right now I have a specific workflow that
right.
requires like a real high buffer, and the
Mm,
Canon wasn't giving me that because I rented that here, and we just couldn't get it. The Fuji couldn't
right.
do it for me. Even the Sony can't even do it for me, but the Nikon did it. The Nikon does the thing that I wanted to do, which is to switch really quickly, and to know that beforehand is
Mm,
really essential. So now if I were to go and say like, if I want to take this workflow and really push it to the limit, I would now tell myself Nikon is the plan to actually go and get because it does exactly what I needed to do with the
right.
workflow that I have.
Yeah, as the Kyle mentioned there, I wish we had stores to walk in and pick it up and feel in your hands, at least to check out the spec flow, etc. That's
I agree.
nice. Yeah, I would like that too. But you know what kills that idea? And it would sound bad coming from me. The fact that persons would still go and look for the cheapest place possible.
I
And
mean
that's
that I get what you're saying, but I feel as though that is part of the course. You will always have those type of persons, the best deal kind of with their best deal kind of people, and you cannot get rid of them. But you
You're
I feel
breaking
as
up
though the
there,
people
yeah.
that you, yeah, I feel as though the people you need to encourage are the ones who will come in, look at it, and then look you in the face and say, I think this would definitely work for me, or whatever that is. But you should not
I
care
could
about.
literally put case in point. I've
Mhm.
had equipment where persons simply ask, "Hey, I could see this." I was like, "Sure, it's not a problem. You could rent it. That's what I feel like." It's
Right.
like, nah, it's okay. No props. That's fine. Of course, it's your money, and it's the same situation if somebody were to purchase it. Again, we tend to look at issues or matters from our perspective only. We don't consider the other side. And I could understand the other side. If something is more affordable, you would tend to go there. All right. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing all of this. Look at the trends. This isn't even. This isn't just Trinidad. This isn't just the Caribbean. This is a human. This is how we
response.
work. Yeah, exactly. We go where we get the most for our money. And that may be value, where you could actually go and hold something, touch something, appreciate that value. But a lot of persons, they look at simply the end dollars. And it's the same for renting equipment, and it's the same for if we had a camera store locally. Again, it may sound a little bad. Persons be like, but how you can even talk like that? No, I'm literally, I talk straight. I just telling you as it is. It's the same thing in the US. They have brick and mortar stores that are closing down every
Plenty.
month. Every month because of online sales. It's where the world is headed. So
Correct.
when you say you wish you could go into a store and purchase it, think of when last did you go to a shoe store locally and purchase a shoe versus simply ordering it online. Now, some persons will say it's more convenient to just buy it online. They don't have to take the time to go to the store, and that's very valid. But for a lot of persons, the main driving cost, I mean, cause, sorry, as to where they would shop, it's cost. Think about it. Again, this isn't just Trinidad. Even in the US, it's happening. You have, that's why you have states like Florida that recently started charging state tax on goods out of state because persons who were shopping in state had to pay tax. They would then
Facts.
say, I'm not going to spend my money in state. I have to pay 7% more. I rather get 7% less cost by buying it right outside of state and have them ship it in. So you know what they start doing? They start charging on outside purchases as well. And it's because the federal taxes how they were able to do it. They were able to get backup from the federal tax system. So again, before you really wish for something, think of what the cost is going to actually involve rather than just that initial dollar value that you see leave in your pocket or your credit card. You see, what can I say? Real should I buy in fit? So pros and cons. You see exactly. But I'm sure for the most persons they're gonna go to the same store, get their foot size if they think it probably changed for whatever reason, and then they go online and buy it if possible. If it's an
Yeah, but
emergency,
sometimes,
they'll buy it down here.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from,
Me too.
but to some degree, I do agree. Because,
Have
for
you bought a
example,
store? Have you bought a phone from the iStore locally?
no,
Ain't nobody have time for that.
All right.
and they are. Let me end good on that
You see, you
because
see
I,
where it
Yeah,
start
right.
you know,
going.
no. That's
No, their
irrelevant.
price point is just ridiculous.
Right. So you would
Exactly,
say it's ridiculous, but do you consider their
guy,
cost of
guy.
operations? The
Well, I
cost of
Yeah,
can't afford
operating in
their cost of.
Trinidad.
no.
You
No,
could
no,
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 afford
no,
it, but
no.
you choose not to. You
no.
rather, again,
All right,
buy from
case in
outside
point.
because
So,
it's more
like
affordable.
it could be 4 to 5 Christmases ago,
Uh-huh.
I went to buy a handbag for my wife for Christmas or something.
Phil, you can't deny the advantage of trying before you buy. That is in the case of the consumer, not the store. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead, go ahead.
yeah. So I went, bought this bag for $1,500. Come home, I into it just for the spouse. Go study that. And then I saw the same bag online for 60 US. Shipping, handling, customs, and equaling no 1,500. Understand? So if your price margins within reason, and I say reason meaning I know you have your brick and mortar, I know you have your rent to pay, and all
Right,
that good stuff. But 50, is it 50 something or 60 US? Do translate
right.
to $1,500.
I
And to that,
agree.
and
I
to
even
that end,
agree.
and that is
Right.
my problem with a lot of, I mean, with
Stores
diversity
locally.
slightly, yes.
And it's one of the reasons why I held out on going to a brick and mortar store. And this is what I'm getting at. The mere fact that there are a lot of costs that persons don't consider. All you would hear from a lot of persons say is it's too expensive, it costs too much. If I were to bring this in for myself, it will cost X and X amount. Why is this costing so much? Again, you're looking at it from your side only. If somebody was to give you that value, the value of you holding it in your hand, it comes at a cost. The cost for iStore to operate in West Mall, for example, the cost for having persons on the sales floor, the cost to clear goods, the cost to even manage inventory, not to mention pilfering. If items go missing, that's a
Not
cost,
to
and
mention
so on.
Westmall down rental.
But that's what I'm saying. West Mall rent. You also have the cost of finance, the cost for forex, the cost for insurance, and you see where it's going. The problem is, we as persons, as consumers, we don't consider the full cost. We just consider the cost ourselves, and that's fair because that's what's coming out of our pocket. But even as business persons, we need to be aware of what's the minimum operating cost and what that involves. We spoil with online shopping. I wouldn't say we spoil. What really happened is, again, we got a more
It gives us
affordable
options.
alternative.
Yeah, it gives us
The world
options.
is
And
exactly, we have options. The world is
The
shrinking because of
the wall is
online.
in our bedroom.
Exactly. So
so
it's the same
so
thing now being applied to our businesses. Now you have an influx of persons who are readily providing an alternative that's more affordable. And then as professionals, we may find it tough to even accept that. We want to cheapen what it is they are bringing. I mean, this is way off of rent versus buying, but it's
No, I
something
feel
that
as it
always.
might be in the same vein because it not only you get that, Conrad, that whole concept of people going to somewhere else to shop. Because
Right.
Rani
No,
and
no,
I
no.
get
I,
that.
I, I
We,
cope with it. I have my
yeah, I
supporters
get
and
it
I
because
love them and appreciate them. Definitely.
no,
100%. I'm just saying.
I'm saying that Rani and I also get that same concept or problem because we have people come to us and like they come and it's like, hey, I have a wedding, something, and then we hit them the cost because again
Right.
we have operational costs and we have uh, we need to operate a certain way, and
Yeah.
we also mark up on it based on how much we think that we deserve in terms of profit and stuff like that. So I don't know it, because what Bruce was saying, I thought they have an extreme markup on the cost of the bag and stuff like that. And again, from
Yeah.
your perspective, we don't know what their operational cost is, so we can't now say, well, you're being you're
Unreasonable.
overcharging for something like that because
Yeah.
we just don't know, and I don't see any way around the fact that
Correct, Coon. Correct.
it's like you reached a point where I understand that you have to mark up, and you understand that I can't pay that price because there are options outside. So
Correct.
it's like, what do the person do? And when I mean person, I mean what do the store owner do now, knowing that there's options outside, and the fact that you have to maintain a certain markup in order to
Just just
one,
as
live and have a
creatives do,
profit.
we I mean, I could talk for myself, we try to give value.
Correct. Okay.
It's the best way, the best sales tactic is to provide value, customer
Provide a
service,
service.
additional value where the person now, yes, you could come in and touch the physical item. Hopefully that is enough to encourage you to have loyal customers. There's also the fact that you being an expert or somebody who is well versed with a piece of equipment, you're able to provide a one-on-one service where you could now give information that would not readily be available. You can't just grasp from a YouTube video. So little things like that. Again, this is what we as professionals are supposed to do either way. Provide a value that lets our service shine above others. Even if it's just simply a relationship. You hear persons in the US talk about their relationships with the brick and mortar stores and they appreciate that. Even locally, like I said, don't get me wrong. I am not saying I don't have customers or I would never have a brick and mortar or a storefront. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the reason why you may not see certain stores readily available in Trinidad is because of that exact reason. Persons now have options that are more affordable, and they will
I have a
use those
question.
options.
I have a question. Based on
Correct,
Bruce's
Christian.
based on Bruce's example with the i with Apple products itself. Um, do you do you actually see camera gear in the same vein as the Apple products? The reason, what, because I'm thinking that camera gear might be a little harder to to um to access as an option to go online, as
Right.
opposed to having somebody who has it down here willing to sell it to me at an affordable price.
If you repeat that
Do
again,
you?
I think I started losing. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. So I was thinking, based on the fact that you have Apple products and camera gear, can they be in the same in line? Because Apple, you could go online and get it. The option to get
Right.
it cheaper online is readily available to anybody. But when it comes to camera gear, I feel as though it's not that easy for a regular person to go online to get camera gear, ship it, pay whatever duties, blah blah blah. But if you do have somebody locally down here who has this type of gear, or it might
Right.
not have the same thing, but something very similar at an affordable price, do you now see that they will come to that person because the other option, which is going online, is more not available to them or very tedious or is a lot of hassle to bring it
Yeah.
down themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I think that
So so
definitely plays a part.
so then do you see that having some sort of very small storefront more beneficial for a photography um and lights and gear something store in locally?
Yeah, I mean, I see the value, definitely. I'm not saying that I would never have it, or even if
Okay.
there would be somebody else who would never do it. I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. I'm not sure which side that is from.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
It sound like I'm not sure. Um, hearing music.
That music most likely be from by me.
That's
Yeah,
from you.
I'm many zest in full swing.
All right, all right. But just to continue, you were saying that if you don't essentially think that it's possible, if I don't think it's possible for a storefront to come up,
Yeah.
yeah, like I was
Well,
saying. Oh, go ahead. I want to make sure I
more
have the
like
question, but
I think it would
because
be a novelty idea. I think it would be more of you having this rather than you looking forward to it bringing in this eh, um, completely new stream of income. That's how I see it to one extent. Like for
I'm
example,
I'm not
B&H.
following
Let
what you're
me look
saying,
at
Randy.
B&H. Okay, what
Okay.
I'm saying is that based on what you were saying about a lot of persons say that, oh, okay, they might be interested in seeing this gear, experiencing this gear. I look at Conrad having a storefront in one vein as it being more of an experience per se. So,
Oh,
like,
okay.
But that's something he could
we had a
definitely market that come into the store is more of an experience. The same way how BNH is actually doing it. He could
correct
definitely
because,
I could see
Right.
him definitely marketing his or getting more sales or more people walking into his store by doing stuff like that. I agree with you, Ronnie.
and
Uh,
another thing
uh,
we have to look at when companies like B&H and so have cameras readily available for persons. Like say Nikon drop a camera, right? And it sends it out. Is it that
Mm.
B&H fits the cost for every camera body
nope.
they have in there? Or good.
Nope.
Or so we have to look at all those stuff. So it'd be nice to say, oh, we want a camera store, but who's fitting the bill for every single thing that is in there? You
Hey,
understand where I'm
night,
coming from?
night, guys.
Excellent
You all hear
question.
me? You all hear me
Yeah,
at
we
Hey,
all?
hearing you,
Kyle.
Kyle. The voice
All right,
of Kyle.
I just jumping in here. Excuse the bamboo busting, the festivities live on this side. But
Should be
yeah,
valid.
I just wanted to jump in. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, as Rani was alluding to there, just like the bars with Carib, for sure those fellas getting them stuff on consignment, so they could
Correct.
afford to
Ah,
sell things and they could afford to recoup that cost and link directly with the manufacturers. It's a
Correct.
whole different ball game. Just for a little perspective, and Conrad could back me up here.
Yep.
BNH, let me say they in what Manhattan. Manhattan population is
yeah.
1.6 million something people. That's more than Trinidad alone.
One thing you're not even considering, B&H itself carries a brand.
Whew, that's the next
It's a
thing
brand.
entirely. Yeah.
So when B&H says jump,
Leverage.
manufacturers jump.
Yeah. And
If
they've been around
Affordable
for a
Imports
while.
tells Nikon, I need 4 Z9s in Trinidad
That
for
email
my
never reach.
customers, they would send to send back, please contact our authorized
What is
dealers.
a Trinidad?
Yeah,
Exactly.
boy. So like my concern with the idea of a camera store locally has always been what is the value proposition for the manufacturers? Because I mean the Caribbean as a whole has buying power in the tens of millions. There's no doubt about that. And that's even without including the diaspora. But are they all buying cameras? And are they all buying cameras from the manufacturers that would partner with a store here?
Again, the economics of scale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said,
It does.
the
It's
buying
not
power of
viable.
the Caribbean is
But
enormous.
forgive me for trying to steer things back, but we strayed a little bit, guys. I
Yeah,
don't know if
way
we
Yeah, a
back.
could.
good bit, a good bit.
Yeah, I don't know if
Again,
we
cost is
could
our
bring it
topic.
bring it back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
definitely. All right, well, let's continue. We're talking about the pros of owning your own equipment. Rani already touched on a good bit of it. He mentioned the fact that persons want to get intimate. I don't know what you mean by intimate with their gear,
I
but
want to sleep with it.
yeah, apparently you
No.
guys will hug up the Nikon.
But back to even what Jomo had said on the other line, he said how he could be on a shoot without even having a camera strap. You understand? Because it's almost like the gear is part of him. So
Mm,
sometimes buying a gear gives you that connection, that mind gear connection that you could you could just see a bird fly out of the bushes and bam, you already know the settings and the button to press to get that in a heartbeat because you are custom. You understand?
mm-hmm.
You're accustomed
I
to it.
mean, you
Is a
definitely need
is
to
look
know
at
your gear, yeah, in and out. And in order to have that, you like you said, Ronnie, you'll be like, you need to be with your gear 24/7.
because
Well,
I'm sure
certain
I'm gonna use
situations
this
require you to
analogy.
actually have your equipment at hand. You can't look at
True.
a bird outside on your tree, your mango tree, and call up, hey, Affordable Imports, I want to get a 600 Sony Sony E9 II. I think about the A1 as well, and we need it in our 5 minutes because this bird look like it go and take off. It doesn't work that way. So
True,
somebody
true,
had
true.
Availability, yeah.
exactly,
Some
availability is something to definitely consider. And somebody had mentioned it up earlier, and I agree with their strategy to a point as well. Not even to a point, I wholly agree. Own certain or critical equipment that you know you're going to require regularly. Definitely, I am for that. That way,
yeah,
you could at least cover that cost over time. Build that back to your client if you have a client at all, because some persons they do this for recreational purposes, and we oftentimes forget that people spend money to enjoy stuff, including gear. Nothing is
correct.
wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. Persons spend much more money to have a good time. All right. So
True.
again, nothing is wrong with owning your equipment. I'm not saying rent everything. Even I'm suggesting that if you can't afford to own everything, I think that applies to most of us. In the event that you have a situation arise, there's another option rather than simply going out and purchase another piece of
Correct.
equipment.
Because I
True,
look
and
forward to renting like a 500 mil or 600 mil from Conron. No lie there. And it would just be for just recreational purposes. There's this place in Marcus Valley called Yeretti, home of the hummingbird.
You're right.
And every Yeret.
Yeah.
And every other day, I think about, yo, I just need a proper camera body and a little 500 or 600 mil, and I will enjoy my time. You
Right.
understand?
Yeah. So there's definitely value in owning your equipment. Um, Even as a backup, as the person was suggesting, Sometimes you may require a backup. You probably couldn't afford to buy the second body right away. You're working towards it. You're getting
Why
jobs.
that person sound like me, so?
That's always you.
They're working towards the second body, or they're probably holding out until there's a new drop. So then they will just buy that instead. Sure, you could probably bill your customer as you're already supposed to be doing, billing your customer for the equipment, and simply
That should be
rent
people's
whatever.
takeaway for tonight. Bill your customers.
Bill your
yes,
customer.
already.
Yeah, right. Sean is saying it here again. My take on it is buy the A camera, rent the B camera, backup cameras. Because if your A breaks on a paid gig, then you're dead. And that's something that we as professionals don't consider a lot. Where is your backup? You cannot call yourself a professional and you're relying on one camera. You hear persons
Who
giving
say?
flack.
I
Well,
calling
you could do
Conrad
it.
at 12 o'clock in the midnight and say, yo, Conrad, drop this black magic
Yeah,
right at my doorstep.
Make sure that aqua could go up there, man. That hell he own.
But
what he
that's the
can tell you.
thing. A lot of times we get emergency rentals, as I will call them. A guy's on a
This
shoot.
is a whole new topic.
Yeah, it's a whole new topic. But this is what happens a lot of times because persons are trying to, again, go into jobs with minimal cost. Conrad, I am at, where was one boy? And I don't know if the person is listening. I am at, where's that place down near Tetron there where persons go and have little birthday limes and stuff?
Point of fair, while for
Shaka Cabana.
Shaka Cabana. Conrad, I'm down at Shaka Cabana and my flash
Carl, is
has
you?
died.
Nah, don't do me that. Don't do me that at all.
Yeah, no, serious talk. This is serious talk. I am on a shoot and I need to get this equipment. It's literally happening right now. And what Conrad has to do, slam up everything has a close up, jump in the truck, fly down to Shaka Cabana, midday traffic, drop off equipment.
That
And
is what
guys-
you call value.
No,
Right.
that is what you call you will be paying for a little bit higher price. So just
It has happened. The most recent one, and I still haven't gotten back my memory card from that person. They were on a video shoot. Audio board gone down. I think they couldn't get the inputs they needed. They needed to get a field recorder. Again, they called Conrad at the last minute. The shoot was supposed to start 1. They called me minutes to 2. I have to rush down with a field recorder to save the day. And I don't mind
You
doing
don't have to, no. You try to be accommodating as possible.
Well,
But
that's the
persons
thing.
still have to
Sometimes-
remember.
but sometimes people need to learn to learn. Call me
Well, it's
wait
not-
for.
Well, it's not my position to teach people. At least not that lesson.
Let me jump in.
See,
Let me
and-
just
see,
jump
and-
back in there. Yeah, see, I'm ready to put them on blast. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean,
Situations arise.
they're both right. And the reality
Exactly.
of it is that Conrad is going to offer whatever value he can until the point where he can't anymore. There's going
That's
to be
true.
the inevitable point when scaling is going to require him to be hands off, or at the very least, not able to fulfill
Do those type of
certain
things anymore.
last minute requests. And as a
Exactly.
result, those persons won't have that avenue anymore. You can't fault
Exactly.
Trinidadians for being Trinidadians, and you can't fix Trinidadians for being Trinidadians.
So
And
when
I say that as
storefront
a
comes
very
in
broad thing.
when storefront come in 2022, persons are still going to ask me
Website.
to go down the road and meet them. Come
You're
on.
mad?
But
You
this
know
is
where
this is the
you
thing.
know where the store is. Come here.
Yeah. Well, not so much that. We have the option for delivery, and we hope that persons utilize that option if you require that. But there's also the
Website.
website. We ask persons to utilize the website. That way, you are able to get all the information at your fingertips, regardless of time of day, regardless of time is when I'm actually not available. Again, back to rent versus buy.
Short commercial break.
Yeah. Sometimes persons, when they own their own equipment or they have their own equipment, they want to put their special touch on it. They want to
A little sticker.
it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to buy a grip for some weird reason.
I never leave
Good night, folks. Good night, folks.
But on a real though, I think I'm gonna go there though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get ready to head down the road.
All right.
Okay.
Safe trips, man.
All right, guys. Take it light.
Take care. All right, and then that's not really an option. That is when you're actually, oh, I'm only one on tonight. Anyway, we have the voice of Rani. Time for drone deliveries according to Curtis. Yeah, definitely. I could see that coming into play. We just need a couple of pilots.
Yeah, let me help you out a little bit, there, Conrad.
Yeah, that's a scene, man. I appreciate. I appreciate. Oh, look, Owen coming back in too. Hey,
Yeah, well, I don't know what's going on with this internet tonight, but
yeah, tonight we're having some technical difficulties. All right. Well, see you on bus out. Hey, you think walking, man?
I mean, that's nice, Ronnie, but you're getting me, so hard luck. But yeah,
2022, man.
yeah, for sure. As you were saying, definitely the reality of that is for modifications and stuff. That's definitely not something that people could do when they're renting.
Yeah.
Do people equipment things that you want to do yours. Like have
Facts.
some men they like to shoot a particular way, as we was talking about in the meeting before. Eyepiece men. Whew, yeah, boy.
Yeah,
Some
pull
people
out
don't
the
like the
eyepiece.
eyepiece at all. They don't want to see it there at all. Yeah, Kyle. Yeah, Kyle. It's the other Kyle. Kyle's always inside. Don't worry yourself. But yeah. So I don't know what other modifications you guys could think of, but the reality of it is, you do with your equipment what you want to do, but you can't do that with
Yeah,
other people own. So that's
true.
definitely a pro for rentals and a pro for
Oh,
owning and a con for rentals. Sorry.
yeah, definitely. All
Yeah,
right.
man, you might want to put on some fancy caps or some skins on your body. I know, like my Pelican case to have this massive Tobago sticker because that's why I rep. Might have a little aperture day, might have a little perfume
Big up
today.
movement, they go every time. Yeah,
You
yeah.
understand? So
Where's the
yeah,
movement, big go?
what's
Yeah,
that?
don't worry about it. Hold on. That's a
Carlo had a sticker too on his own.
yeah. That's
I
a
know that
plug.
Well,
one.
I mean, come on,
I
then.
I have some more stickers yet on mine. I only have about 3 stickers.
I don't have none except
I'll
for
go put the
affordable
Apple
imports.
sticker soon on it.
You go ahead. All right. But we also had the fact that some persons want something specific. They want to get their photo and they want to get the Hasselblads and stuff, and that's not necessarily available. So,
I want brown color, so that's another one.
yeah, and you may not find these things at your neighborhood rental house
Yeah,
if you will. So,
yeah.
it is what it is. What you gonna do?
Could cry, you could beg, but apparently I think I find the secret sauce.
Oh, a red
Yeah,
mango?
yeah, red mango from the promised land. I
Uh,
tell you, I'm bringing back a whole big bag.
Oh, you
Let's
mean
get
the
to
bribes?
go, man.
Yeah. It's a while now. I bring back some bribes, way.
yeah, them bribes is work. That's work. I heard so. I heard so.
That's the word on the sheets. So, fellows, if you want to get the pop-up shop, send this man some red mango. It is alleged. It's
I
that
mean, that's
simple.
actually a good idea though. Could do a pop up shop, sorry, in Tobago.
I
Yeah,
mean,
the
yeah.
over.
If you scroll through the chat, you'll see Phil suggested it about 4 times now.
Could be fun.
Just I don't I don't know if that's a hint or anything, but
No,
just
I
take a look
believe it
at
could
it.
happen, and I
I mean,
think
yeah.
even
The
affordable imports, Conrad could have somewhere where it's like a meet and greet photographers, while we have sponsorship on that end. So it could actually be a nice little community, something you could look forward to, just like how we will look forward to Photo Plus, look forward to CES, and all these other big shows. I think we
Right.
can do something for Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, it might not benefit us directly, but hey, it could just put us on the global stage.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was something akin to Christian suggestion, creating a market for yourself. Granted, I
Yeah.
mean everybody in Trinidad already know the time and cough, but you
Facts.
you build the market based on who you want to get in there, and if people know what you're doing and they know what you have, they could check it out and come and see. Um, yeah, I'm seeing Sean's comment here, and as we could obviously transition to at some point, he's suggesting, shifting the risk from yourself as
Yourself,
the
yeah.
owner to the rental house. And
That has
granted
happened
that
to
the
me, by the
rental
way.
house, granted that the rental houses themselves understand the inherent risk of what they're doing, you're kind of putting yourself in a little shaky situation there.
Especially if you already agreed to return the equipment in the same condition you would have gotten it.
as
But
stipulated in the agreement.
agree exactly. So there have been persons in the past who rented like lens and cameras and stuff to go and shoot. Um, where's the festival with Abir again? My mind will slip in right now. With Abir,
Hmm?
and they
Holly,
of
Coloran,
course, sorry,
Holly,
the,
Holly,
yeah, that Holly, the
the
one in
Coloran
Pagua,
thing.
Pagua.
Oh,
Pagua.
Yeah, so
yeah, that's the
persons
name.
sometimes even use equipment to go and shoot Pagua, and I'm almost sure they wouldn't use their own equipment in this situation
Of
because
course they
obviously,
wouldn't. That's why they rent it.
exactly,
Well, I mean, it depends on the person.
of course,
Yeah,
some
some
persons
people,
that's
some
their
people
job.
committed to it. Yeah, that is the shot. I remember in the Juve days, it has certain men without fail. You seen them on the road, and they sometimes they plastic down. Sometimes it is what it is. They taking that L
Freehand,
for
yeah,
the shots. Yeah,
yeah. They take the L lens into the L. They take the L on the L, so you could do.
I meant it figuratively, but literally as well too. I've seen a couple 51.2s on the road Juve morning, and I was both
Oh,
confused and impressed.
there's
Mostly
one specific
confused.
guy, yeah, with a 51.2. I don't know if it's the same 51.2. Yeah, a man who just shoot black and white.
I know you're talking about.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
Hey
As
guys, pause for cause. The GI Mavic 3 launch in 33 minutes. Anyway, back to programming.
This
okay.
man excited, boy.
And the man Rabas and the camera, the drone.
Yeah, but yeah. So in terms of the opinion on that, Conrad, what is the perspective of the rental house in that regard? Because there is the understood inherent risk versus the actual inconvenience of the risk.
Well, okay, for example, what I do is during times around those festivals where persons will attend those festivals to take pictures. If I know Pagua is coming up, I usually inquire with whoever is renting equipment around that time if by chance they're going to be shooting Pagua. If they say yes, then I ask them to please ensure that they take certain measures to minimize risk of damage because Pagua is a kind of close quarters kind of thing. It's very intimate if you want to use Rani word. And you could get not only the colors, the paint all over your equipment, there's also the possibility of getting impact damage. Somebody knocked down your equipment in the middle of the entire festival.
True.
So, you just need to sometimes use a little sense as the rental house as well as the person renting. You need to be aware of the inherent risks involved in using a piece of equipment in those situations and try to mitigate the issues as much as possible. Outside of that, of course, we refer to our rental agreement, which you would have signed. So, yeah, take that for what you will. All right.
Right.
But we kind of going on for a bit. We strayed for probably like 50% of tonight's episode. We didn't really get a cover what we
Cover.
intended to. But yeah, it is what it is. So before we end up into our 4-hour stream tonight, I'll just drop some tips. I don't know. You wanted to cover anything, Owen? Anything else you want to talk about or mention?
Um, Not necessarily. I just would have liked to be able to rent some Pro Photo gear at some point.
Yeah,
Probably
everybody
a
want that.
RF 28 to 70 at some point.
No, that one I will get that one for sure. We'll get the RF 28 to 70 after we get the Raptor.
I hold my breath.
And
Yeah.
another point I just wanted to add with the whole rent and buy is that renting is a wonderful thing, especially for a photographer who is always on the go and traveling. Because the reality is, you can get an extremely cheap ticket to go certain places by having little to no luggage, right? So imagine you got called tomorrow for a job in New York. You don't have to worry about okay having all of this gear, paying for extra ticket for extra baggage. You know when you reach to New York, your gear already at your hotel from various rental houses. So that's another thing persons can look forward to, the ease of adapting. And another point, even with renting, is that renting causes you not to be stuck into one camera system. So let's say Owen is shooting a job and we know he needs it for photo and Canon, but because you have been renting various equipment over time, you have the ability to easily adapt between shooting Canon, Sony, Nikon. So Owen calling you into his team means that hey, I already have experience. It's not a case where I jump to Owen shoot, he gives me a 5D Mark II, and I'm like, yo, how the hell I use this? Because I've been stuck shooting Sony all my life. So renting helps you to kind of almost like a jack of all trades. You get a bit of, a little bit of everything. It's like eating a nice bus of shot. So you
Yeah.
have a little dal, you have a little mango, you have a little pumpkin, and yeah.
Yeah.
So renting,
That's
there
a
are
great
ways that
point.
renting could be a wonderful tool to be used in anybody's arsenal.
Just to add to what you're saying there, Rani, and I think is something that you hit the nail on the head. For a lot of photographers working with other photographers, they don't necessarily require using the same brand unless they want to get that exact look or exact file. But when it comes to video, especially, and oh, what's that noise?
Yeah, boy.
A whole set of chips getting eat there, boy.
When
I'm
it comes
sorry, guys, it's conflicts.
after you drop them gems, especially when it comes to video, you would find that it helps a lot, especially in post, to work with similar or the exact same camera um, as whoever is leading the team. That way you avoid real time in post trying to match colors.
Yeah,
A
too
simple
much time
thing,
sometimes.
exactly, exactly. A simple
Yeah,
thing as
well,
file types. Go ahead, Ken.
I could have jumped in there for sure. Just to kind of clarify on Rani's point there, the benefit of being system agnostic and being able to use any
I like
camera
that too.
system or whatever the case may be, while that is an advantage, that may not be for everybody. Everybody has their own workflow.
Of
Some people
course.
just want to stick to Canon, just want to stick to Sony, wherever the case might be. But
Right.
if it is you are in a situation or environment where that is a benefit to you, then by all means go through.
Yeah.
The first camera that I touched was a Canon. The camera that I learned photography on was a Nikon. The first camera that I bought was a Canon. A lot of the cameras that I've worked on are Sony's. And we just jump in through the rings and switching as needed. That's how we are.
Getting the
It's like
job done.
a lot of people wouldn't believe it right now, but I mean, to some extent, technically, I'm a cameraless photographer right now.
Wow.
And yeah, and it doesn't really matter because as long as I get to the job with a camera in my hand, the job gets done. And
Fair.
that kind of
Cut your
applies for a
profit.
lot of people across the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously I
as a
would know some of them. Go ahead, go ahead.
the cameraless photographer, I know a couple of photographers, even in the US, some renowned photographers, they indicated in the earlys that they had no gear. There was
Yeah.
absolutely no need to even own anything
I know of
because
some locally.
depending on the job and the specifications you rent, what is required, you get the job done and you move on with your life.
Now,
Because
the
some
cons
things,
exist, eh? The cons
yes,
exist
they
just
do.
like we've mentioned them earlier because there are days I might want to do passion projects or I might want to jump on a project, or there will be projects that
Facts.
cannot afford the minimum engagement cost. And then you
Facts.
kind of get to that point where it's like, do I compromise to be able to do this job, or do I just say no to the job, or what?
Facts.
What options do you have at that point?
Yeah. Exactly. I could see that being a real concern for somebody who has to rent everything. Yeah, that would be tough. But again, it goes back to if you have the option, definitely, you're using something regularly, it might really be in your best interest to own it if you could afford to.
Yeah.
Well, another, as we mentioned, the pros of renting, because we kind of fell off the rental side, the pros. One of the pros of renting is the fact that you're able to get a clear cut profit out of a job. Again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. The fact that you own equipment, you need to ensure that you are billing that into your cost to clients.
Correct.
If you are renting it now, you already know exactly what it is that you're going to be billing your client. There's no mistake or a miscalculation. There's that exact figure. That is what you're going to be
Things in
deducting.
reference to that earlier.
Yeah, you know exactly what is going to hit your bank account. You understand?
Yeah, what's going to be left. So it helps in that instance. It also adds a bit of, you already mentioned what he had said earlier, Owen. It adds a bit of support to your pricing. So when somebody brings into question what it is that you're charging, you have almost like a backup or proof of why you're charging this much. Not that you want to be justifying all your costs to your clients, but
True.
again, some clients do you do bring into question your pricing, and for those instances where it's worth it, you just may have to do that for them.
I'm just gonna play the devil's advocate there and add the fact that when you get into that conversation, when you get to that point, it kind of you're kind of on a road to nowhere because
Exactly.
if it is somebody
Well
asks,
said. Well said.
no,
Yeah.
but if it is somebody asks, okay, why is your price this? My price
Yeah.
is this because I rent X. Why are you renting that? You're not a professional. Why you're not supposed to own that?
That's it.
Well,
Because I was
if I
going to bring
own
that
that,
up.
my price would be higher. And then you just do this constant back and forth, where
I
the
have
long and
lost
short of
many
it is,
jobs because of that.
yeah,
Serious.
the long and short of that pointless
Yep.
convo is
Happens.
they don't want to pay your price. You do not want to
Exactly.
change your price.
They don't
Please,
want to pay the
yeah, just
price
adjust
that's involved.
accordingly. Like it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be that long drawn out thing because the reality of it is that whether you chose to rent or buy, there is a cost to recoup. And that was a
That
lesson I
that's
personally
what
had to learn
keep
the hard way.
reinforcing. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Because
Like
when your
remember the days
equipment goes, go ahead, sorry.
remember the days when it was filmed? When it was filmed, the finiteness of the craft was more
Yeah,
evident.
exactly.
When the film run out, the film run out. Now
It's
As
the
with
in,
same.
digital files, people think you just clicking a button, and that's it. They think you could click infinitely. You know how shocked I was when I found out cameras had a shutter count.
And
That there
it
was an
creeps up really
actual
fast, huh?
point. Yeah,
It
that
creeps
there was
up
an
really
actual point
fast.
the camera stops working, and then you have to be able to say, well, look,
either
on
replace for
yeah, on
some.
Yeah.
average, you go out on a job and you shooting 1,500 images. Take your shutter count, divide it by the 1,500 images, find out what your job count is from that camera. Take that
Yeah.
job count and cross-reference it for jobs for the year, and you could know what your recouping cost is going to be in the long run.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I've
just one
actually reached
Again,
example.
about 300,000
again,
on a shutter.
that's the minimum cost.
That's
Correct.
So
Correct.
even when you're renting equipment, nothing is stopping you, and I say nothing is stopping you from marking up that cost.
And sometimes you don't have a choice because if it is you not pricing yourself appropriately,
Exactly.
even if you don't feel it now, even if you don't feel it in the moment doing the job, you feel it down the line. Like
Exactly.
clients don't care when you can't pay your bills. Clients don't
Exactly.
care when you can't change your gear. They
You're
care
almost
about when
preaching,
they're
but
gonna get their stuff. They care about if you could make it, and if it is, you could take the price that they want to pay.
That's
yeah.
it. Full stop. Getting the
All right.
objectives met.
Yeah, and you just have to be able to do that no matter what.
Yeah. I think that's it for the most part. We covered the majority of it. A lot of it may not necessarily apply to small scale professionals. When I say small scale, they don't have a bunch of equipment like I have inside of here, so you don't have any storage costs, or let's say equipment comes in under
Oh, there
50,000
we go.
TT. What's that there?
Bamboo
Okay.
That's more festivities, so I'm gonna meet you up
Okay.
there.
All right. Yeah, or let's say your equipment totals or sums less than 50,000, then insurance would not necessarily be a huge factor in terms of determining whether you want to rent or buy. Something we didn't touch on here, and it's not necessarily a pro of renting, but it goes to show the merits of renting. If you have ever worked with an ad agency, they don't own any equipment. Think of it. It's the same for TT Rideshare. We use the local example. They don't own any cars.
Exactly.
It's the same for What's our local Airbnb? Or is there we just have Airbnb locally?
Yeah, we just have Airbnb. We
just
don't
have
have any
Yeah,
local brands, but there are some property managers who, make it
exactly.
work. Yeah.
They simply don't own the assets. They utilize the asset to get a revenue. And as business
Food
owners,
drop TT.
food drop
They don't
TT. They
they
don't
don't
own
own
any
no
cars
restaurants.
or restaurants. All of those skip the line. As a business owner, oftentimes we need to understand there's a relationship between cash flow, capital, and simply utilizing assets for return. It doesn't always require you to own everything in order to you to get maximum
factors
benefit.
of production. Facts.
Yeah. What? IBC Skybox doesn't own their delivery vans. Airlines don't own the airplanes. Correct. Airlines oftentimes lease their airplanes and they hire professionals to see about them. And yeah, you get the clean profit out of it. You need to manage your cash flow. So in a case, let's say, okay, countless guys have said they want to get one of the Aperture 600Ds. That's a very good investment, I would say. I own 3 of them. That's in our rental lineup. But since we have owned these 600Ds, we are nowhere near the what the hell is that?
Really.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody dragging chain. Yeah, since we have owned the 600Ds, we have been nowhere near to recouping the cost of them. And that says something. It's available for us to rent, and hopefully one day we would be able to recoup it. But imagine if you yourself had owned one of these. How long would it take for you to recoup that cost? According to Rani, would you really see the benefit in your production from owning that equipment versus using that same money to buy something else or utilize it for some other reason? You could probably send your child to school even. You understand? Buy a whole car. So again, we need to understand the relationship between cash flow, that is the cash available on hand. Sometimes we need to be liquid enough to simply take advantage of other situations versus owning equipment. The return on the investment, that capital, is it really worth it? May not be, but there may come a day when a job requires that equipment. Let's say you get a large interview set up and the room isn't as lit as you would like. What do? Do you simply just get by and the production doesn't necessarily come out the way you envision? You could do that, but you have
Be
an
happy that you
option.
own a Sony and dynamic range down the place.
Exactly. You could dynamic range the way according to Owen, in which case that would have been a worthy investment. But again, now you have an alternative. You can say, hey, affordable imports. I have a job. This is what the job requires. Tell me, do you think this will get the job done? Yes, we could probably do this, that, and that. This is the cost. Or you wouldn't even need to call me if you're familiar with the equipment to an extent. You book it online, you have the cost there, and you include that in your bid to the client. Simple as that. Whereas before, you would have had to set aside something like $18,000 for one light, and that doesn't even include the modifiers or the stands to go with that light. We have 3
And
of
the
those
time
lights.
to get it in your hand for the job.
Correct, the time to get it. Do you have the time? Exactly. That's a great point, Rani. Owen, sorry. That's a great point. Could you get the equipment in time for the job at hand? May not be enough time, especially nowadays. So
Yeah.
you
Train
want to
away.
consider that.
Last minute. What it now for now?
Exactly. How many times we've gotten calls from clients, I need this for tomorrow morning. You can't call Conrad at 10 o'clock in the night to book equipment. You just go on the website and book it. 18,000 for a light? Nah, rent that. No,
Exactly. Rent that. Bill that
some
to the
people would see
client.
the benefit.
That's not your cost.
That's tough. Exactly. Again,
It depends on the light.
It depends on the light and how often you're going to be using
I'll
it.
kick out Owen, please.
Nah, that's not necessary. I mean, it also depends on if it says you could justify it for the job, because the reality sometimes is whether or not you know this is the tool for the job and this is the tool you want to use. Is that a tool that the job could facilitate?
Exactly.
Like
The client could cover it.
you making
Sorry,
a
go ahead,
choice
Kyle.
to. Sorry, well, no, I was just gonna say that you making a choice to do a job is one thing, but being able to execute the job and stay in the black is a whole other thing entirely. Like it's separate.
Yeah.
Facts.
Cash flow. Facts. All right. So again, trying to stay on track. We're gonna try and wrap up. Again, anything Owen, Rani, Kyle, anything you want to touch on before we wrap up? I know we had some
Yeah,
tips to cover. Go ahead, Rani.
DJI Mavic 3 launch in about 50 minutes. All right, back to program.
I mean, yeah, the conspiracy is clear. All of us coming off to go and watch the live stream. Sorry,
Oh,
don't feel
serious?
bad. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
I thought all was going to sleep. I going to pack for tomorrow. I go and pack out gear. All right. So some quick tips. When you're renting equipment, sometimes it could get a bit, how to put it, technical. Some equipment,
Daunting.
I won't go so far,
I
but
won't go there.
some equipment have a lot of pieces. For example, the DJI RS2 gimbal, we have six USB cables, 3 HDMI cables, a handle, a battery. We have the piece to mount the phone. We also have the plate for the camera that goes on the next piece, and the actual gimbal itself. And this doesn't include the wireless transmission system or the focus gears, which would have also the kind of tape or just pull the gear thing to hold the lens. So yeah, as you see, is a lot.
You're
Sorry,
leaving out
what's
the
that?
Raven Eye. You're leaving out the Raven Eye or the Raven Eyes one.
The Raven Eyes. That is not the wireless transmission
Yeah,
transmitter.
sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I was confused. You didn't call it by name, you know.
Oh yeah, Raven Eyes, and all those little pieces. In a case like that, it might be worthwhile to snap a picture because it's a lot of pieces. Before. Okay then.
Like Rami setting the stage for this.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. Before you begin to use the equipment, it would help to actually snap a picture with your phone. You always have your phone on the side before you start to put together the pieces, because again, it's a lot of pieces to keep track of. You may not want to mix it in with your gear, especially.
Especially a gimbal.
Yeah, especially a gimbal. Rani.
No, that wasn't me.
All right, let's see. Before you rent some piece of equipment. Okay. Yeah, before you rent a piece of equipment, you want to be familiar with it enough, to ensure that you get utilization out of it. You don't want to necessarily be trying to figure out everything on the job. That is kind of embarrassing in front of your clients. You would want to come in as a professional, familiar with the equipment to the point that you're just going to get the job done and get out. In a case like that, of course, you could talk to me or whoever is your rental house, and you can also look at YouTube videos. I mean, everybody is making a YouTube video nowadays. You have countless videos. If it's not reviews, it's unboxings, it's promotional material from the various manufacturers. So definitely take a look at YouTube, University of YouTube. Always charge or check batteries when you're going to do a job. This would also apply to rentals. Most times I make it my duty to charge equipment when it comes back in. That way, when it's ready to go out, if somebody has a last minute booking, it's ready to go on the ball. Sometimes the batteries would naturally discharge. They are built with battery maintenance systems, or I may not have charged one battery for whatever reason, or whoever is your rental house didn't charge back the batteries. It's a good idea to have your equipment with sufficient time beforehand that you are able to charge the batteries or ensure that you have sufficient power to get the job done. Again, pretty simple. Always test equipment where possible before the job. Now, we know trainees, last minute always, not necessarily the most, how could I put it, obvious thing, but definitely if you can before, test your equipment. Don't wait until the job starts again, unprofessional, in front of your client, to try and set up something. Equipment fails. You never know when it may next to it. At least now, if you test it beforehand, you're sure you have all the pieces and your equipment is functioning properly. we talked on this earlier. Sian mentioned it even. Price your services in a way that if your own equipment were to fail, your profit margins would remain unaffected with its rental replacement. Even Rani mentioned this. I think this was his point actually. It was an excellent point. And I even overlooked it. But think about it.
Usually doesn't happen unless you are intentionally doing it to be malicious, and then that's a whole different story. That's all I was trying to say.
Rani. Yeah. Let's Rani on fire tonight. Yeah, if your equipment goes down for whatever reason, you would want to ensure that when you had given your customer that initial quote, that price, that you are still able to now rent something without having to simply go into the red, as Kylo put it. It doesn't make sense that you are undercutting in pricing or you're pricing so low to get the job that you're not considering the cost of equipment. Again, we probably mentioned this like 8 times tonight. If your equipment goes down mid-job or right before the job and you have to rent something, you should not have to go into a red or make a loss just to ensure that you get the job done. And yeah, I think that was it for tonight. Just in time for us to get in on the Mavic 3 live stream that Rani is so highly anticipating. I know Sian was on earlier. He stepped out. He's over. Well, we didn't want to give out too much, but he's outside. And well, we have Owen. Kyle came in from the background, and Rani here. Keep looking out for it.
Just let me know, and I will do my best to remove.
All right.
So you will do your best. So that's what you're saying.
All right, guys. So we're gonna head out now. Thanks for sticking with us. Owen, you want to say anything? We'll let you come in there.
Unmute there, Owen.
Owen, you're on mute. Sorry.
My apologies. I was gonna let the Adoring fans know that next week will be the last live stream for 2021 until new season 2022, January 2022.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we referenced with the penultimate at the onset. I don't think we addressed it though. So we're just taking a little hiatus for a little bit to regroup and come back out with some great stuff, better stuff.
Much better.
Epic stuff.
Yeah,
No, it's
but
not the
by-
last. Brendan asking if it's the last.
No,
the last one
not
is
this
next week.
Next week will be the last. Not
Yeah.
tonight.
But by all
Not
means,
tonight.
guys, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to, just drop in any questions you might have. Send us a message. Send us a DM. The reality of it is that we are coming up with the topics. We're bringing these conversations to you, but you are the guys we want to help out. So any information you want to know about, anything you want to ask, just let us know, and we'll have it ready for season 2.
Yeah. Or even if you want to have something covered next week, as next week is the last, if there's any questions that you may have had, feel free, please drop a comment. If you want, you can message any of us. You see our handles here. Let us know. What's that?
Dylan was saying it's still early in the
Still early
year.
for the year. I mean, let me do pretend like December doesn't disappear in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Plus we had roast ham, make sweet bread, and
All the family
and
duties and
black
responsibilities.
cake. We had a
That's
paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Plus
all
we
have
had a wrap
families
up
to
the
see
box.
about.
Double episode final.
A double episode final. Ooh, 4 hours, baby. It's kind of go late already, you know.
Well,
We'll just push it. We'll see what we could do, but
a
yeah,
2-for-1
please.
special.
Yeah,
Nah, we get them that last week.
Last week
Yeah,
was 2
yeah.
for 1.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's someone asking what mic you using there.
One mic, we have the Blue Yeti. It just kind of properly set up. It's still not ideal, but yeah, it's a Blue Yeti. Once you get in close to the mic, it works.
Okay. Nice.
If you'd like to contribute for a laptop and camera for Mr. Horn to come on live in video, we'll be posting our link.
You laughing? That's a serious thing.
I mean, Rani, you're a core member of GAS. You've been with us since day one on IG. It was kind of unfortunate we couldn't have you on video tonight. I kind of miss you. As even as it might sound, a little fluffy. No homo.
Yeah, I miss all it too, but that's all right.
Yeah,
Greater things to come.
yeah, the audio thing alone not cutting it. It's not cutting it, especially when you're trying to snack on your cornflakes and thing.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's good. It's
Don't
okay.
worry. Bigger and better for season 2.
That is it.
Bigger and better.
To the max.
Yeah. So again, persons, if you have any suggestions for our last episode next week, even if you have suggestions for season 2, if there's anyone you'd like to see come on, just drop a comment, send us a DM. Again, you have us here. We do have Sion on right now. Sion is of Adato Portraits and Adato Weddings, I believe, is his handle.
Yes.
You can find him on Instagram. You have Owen of Bruce Lights and Canvas, aka Mr. Profoto, the man himself, the only one who does shoot Canon in the bunch without any compromise. When do you have a Canon transmitter?
He go be shooting Nikon soon. Don't study him.
You never know. Oh
Never
God!
know.
I'll tell you about that later.
Rani
Fuji.
Rani on photos, the in-house Nikon shooter, aka Mr. Prime Minister's Owen, let's call him. The Godox bandit, the man who has only touched Sigma, Viltrox. What else he has touched? Anything but he house brand and lenses.
That
And
is
this
it.
is the
That's what I'm
macro.
And you want me to shoot Nikon? Never that.
We have the voice behind the scenes. That is Kyle. That is Vibesman Kyle. Kyle Walcott, one of the best videographers and production managers that you could ask for. He
Facts.
holds us down. He has us in the background on point. If you see us pause, it's because Kyle is scolding us hard in the background, and we all
Or
reading
kick
it.
us out.
Yeah. Oh, I get kicked out 2 or 3 times already this year. And myself of Affordable Imports, that is Conrad. Viltrox, Lenses Live, yeah, Viltrox does work. Rani proved that.
Boy, telling all this so long time.
Brendan, I like any topics traveling with gear. We could probably talk to Kyle on that. He does that a lot. Sion as well. Well, Owen and myself is mostly in car, and well, Rani, I think, is all over the place. Rani could probably talk on traveling.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll have an outdoor segment. We'll have a live gear setup, breaking down bags, setting up bags. Trust me, season 2 going to be lit. You understand? If you miss season 1, trust me, don't miss season 2.
You see that
Rani,
face,
you
Conrad?
go ahead and promise thing. I
See
see
that
in
face,
the
Conrad? Have we now learning about these things, man? You
understand?
Don't study that. Don't study that.
As
We're
Rani
going to
start-
revisit the live. We're going to
As
revisit the
Rani started
live.
make
Come back to this
promises,
idea.
the views started to go up. So I was like, what going on here? I was like, hey,
I just make
Rani.
it say HDC house now. Once you see that inside, there you go.
you understand? I was like, what going on here? You're closing down.
Nah, don't worry. We'll be outdoors, guys. So we're just giving you a little tidbit. We're
Right.
gonna be outdoors. At some
Right.
point,
What's in
you're
my
gonna see me
camera bag
outdoors.
gas edition? Phil, you
What's
know
in
what
my
I
bag?
can.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, we could go through that. I could see a 20 minutes per person or something like that. Or if you want to
20
critique
minutes,
on
split.
Conrad, really? Cut 20 minutes?
what do you think? 10?
20
50?
minutes?
I gotta yield my time to Conrad, and
Oh, well,
and then all of us gotta yield some of our time
Nah.
to Conrad, and you
no.
know,
I
eventually
could
we'll
break
get
it down
through.
quick.
No, we
MacBook
could just.
Air, C70, 51.2. Now we have the Amaran light and a 8M. That is it. Oh, and the
That's
No,
the
but-
60C stunt
Blue
in there.
Yeti. Huh?
But
it
the
60
viewers need to see it in person, though.
Yeah, the 60C is standing. What is that?
The viewers need to see you zooming into the bag, taking out the gear, wiping it off. You know, they need to feel this personal touch.
All our production thing, but I know. But hey, this P60C, Owen, you're supposed to see it today.
Yeah.
We didn't.
I just have one question about it. How
What's
does
that?
it feel?
Feel good. I like the feel. It's solid and nice.
That is it. Well, we saw right there.
Yeah,
So,
I-
like,
That's- Let me take that as a teaser.
Yeah, I didn't like the Amaran. Look, I changed it to red there now. Yeah, I didn't like the Amaran, the Cobb lights, the 200s and the 100s.
200D.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
so
nice. They're nice, but I don't like the way they feel. They feel.
Is it
about the
just the
new
build
kind of
quality?
feel.
Sorry.
Yeah, build quality.
Is it just the build quality? Is the issue?
Yeah, the build quality. I can't see it I mean, even in our rentals, they suffer a little bit because one, for example, came back with a broken knob. Drag this down a little bit. Yeah, one came back with a broken knob. Somebody put them back in the case and they were so hot they melt all the foam around them.
Wow.
Yeah, that never happened with the Aperture
Yeah.
light storms.
Well, yeah, you
So
see,
things like
you're
that.
coming into the issue there of materials and stuff. They put it plastic to save on the price, and that's
So
just
said DJI starting. So
no.
everybody.
That's the cue. You hearing Randy Mike and thing?
That's the countdown.
DJI?
That's the countdown.
Yeah.
A
You know what we
40-second
should do?
countdown.
I don't know if you're
Just
up for
play
it, but we
China,
could
boy.
actually, we could have
Yeah.
relax. Oh God,
That's
Randy.
what I said.
That's what the man real excited.
Manuel hype. And then
Let
we
me
go and
close.
say they're smoking weed at the end of it.
You understand? We could have closed out the stream and open up a live reaction or something. I mean, I ain't for that.
All right, well, close it off.
All right. Well, yeah.
We'll
I mean,
close
we
the
already
live
had the
stream
sign
right on the
out, so
2 hour mark,
guys.
and we could come back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Good night.
We're coming back in.
Good night.
Good night, guys.